Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.G. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome back to another week of the Nightwing news. All Nightwing this week. I am Phil. Joining me as always it is.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
And tonight we'll be covering the only Nightwing 99 and 100 for now. Ooh.
Look, I got the floppies out. I had my dad bring them.
Ooh. See, I was lazy. I didn't get mine out. Yeah.
So now I can have floppies for all our future Nightwings as well.
I have them. I'm just too lazy to go downstairs and get them. Yeah, so.
Shameful, Phil. Shameful.
I know. Like I said, we'll be getting another Nightwing 99 and 100 in the next few months.
Yeah, what's coming up in September? 96. Because
I was counting. I think 100 might be like maybe January or so.
Oh, new year. New 100. Awkward.
So, yeah. Yeah, we're doing 99 and 100. Oh, it wasn't a big appearance, but Dick was on Harley Quinn this week.
He was, yeah, but he only had like 3 lines.
Yeah, it was like on for like maybe 2 minutes in the cave.
Yeah.
While Bruce was
I feel like I liked how obviously he had a bigger role. In the other one, this one was like kind of, but so it's really funny to me. And you can really see how they're not supposed to take it seriously. It's so hilarious to me how Batman is such a sad sack. Like, that is so different from the comics. And so it's really funny how he's so sad and how he is like not anywhere near as capable as he is in the comics. Because, I mean, that whole thing where Batgirl was like, these hats. And he's like, no, it can't be Mad Hatter. Wearing a hat doesn't make you a criminal. Am I a criminal? Because he's like in his emo phase, where it's his scraggly beard and his hat.
I just think it's funny, the interaction between Harley and Barbara, just because it is Kaylee Cuoco and her sister. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, that got me wondering. I mean, I doubt it, but it would have been kind of cute if, since like Harley and Batgirl were the ones in the room and they are friends, if then we got to have like a Nightwing and Ivy being friends episode. But I'm pretty sure they did not exchange cell phone numbers. So I think it's just a Harley and Batgirl thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But yeah, his line like, ready to steal some kisses. That's funny. But I thought that episode was really hilarious, and I really enjoyed Jesus Shark. When King Shark goes to his dad's funeral, and they're in this shark church, and there's a crucified shark up there.
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, yeah, that's top notch.
I love they called out how creepy Mad Hatter is.
Yeah, he is creepy.
So, yeah, because I don't think... well, we haven't got any new comics yet since we did last episode, so...
Right, yeah.
No new Dick Grayson sightings. Maybe next week, kids. So, should we jump into these ones?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, yeah, Nightwing 99 and 100. So 99 is January 2005.
Wow.
Yeah. Back to Life. Of course, yeah, this is a Devin Grayson issue. Penciler, Zach Howard. Inker, Andy Owens. Colors, Gregory Wright. Letterer, Rob Lee. And editor, Michael Wright. So this is...
I mean, this is the run. This is kind of in the midst of the dark period. and Nightwing. But these 2 issues I think are very good.
Yeah, this one, especially this one's like a fill-in, and it's still good. It's it's kind of like but it's right after war games, and it's leading us in this
Yeah, because that's how he got shot, was by an officer during war games, right?
Mm-hmm. Which, spoilers, kids, that's why where supposedly Stephanie Brown got killed, but then when they wanted to bring her back later, they're like, haha, no. Leslie Thompson.
Yeah, so I didn't read all of the war game stuff, and plus it's been a while, but stuff happens in war games. Barbara's tower is destroyed, so she moves out of Gotham for a while. Is that when she goes to Metropolis, or is that something different?
It might be. I'm not sure, but yeah, again, it was another excuse to have Bruce on his own again. It was right on the whole war games right after when Bruce Tim, his dad, finds out he's Robin, so he forbids him to be Robin. So Bruce makes Stephanie Robin.
Okay, yeah. So it's while Stephanie's Robin that she
accidentally
sets off the plans.
Well, it's like right after she's Robin, because she doesn't live up to Bruce's high standards. So he fires her, of course. And then she's like, "Oh, well, there's this war games. There's this big plan in the computer to take out like all the crime bosses at once." But the one thing she didn't account for, because she didn't know the I don't know, the whole thing, the whole plan centered on one underworld figure, one Matches Malone. And so she doesn't know who Matches is. So she was like, "I don't know what happened. Matches didn't show up," and So yeah, so then
one of the problems where you don't tell people about this important stuff in your computer. Wah, wah. Okay, so Stephanie's dead. Barbara's out of town, and so this is not when Tim goes to boarding school. That's already happened.
Yeah, that was that right after No Man's Land. No, this is I think this might be when Tim goes to Bloodhaven.
Yeah, because isn't this around when his dad dies?
I think, yeah.
Because I think one of the issues we're gonna read is he says something to Dick like, "Bruce offered to adopt me, but I made up my fake uncle," or whatever.
Yeah, because it's weird because it didn't happen in a Bat book. But yeah, this is around the time too. Yeah, where Captain Boomerang kills Tim's dad in Identity Crisis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, oh yeah, because I think his dad might be dead, because Tim moves to Bloodhaven and he makes up like a fake uncle, so he doesn't have to have like a guardian around.
Right, and so I guess I'm wondering if, since we've talked to Devin about this before, I mean, this is getting ahead of us, just some of the other stuff, but I'm kind of seeing a bit more how this is coming together. If they're having Tim move over to Bloodhaven, then that is obviously more of a sign to us now that, like, oh yeah, this was all part of the Dido's long-term strategy to kill Nightwing, because then after year 1, he's not in his suit for a while, and I think that was because they were foreseeing him dying.
Yeah, I think they wanted him to go dark and then like kind of redeem himself right before his supposed death. Yeah. But no, I mean, I knew you'd like this 99 because a lot of it's just like Dick talking to Alfred.
Yeah, and it talks about his relationship with Bruce, which, as you know, is my kryptonite.
And I couldn't remember. I thought it was this issue, but it might have been the issue before this, where because there is an issue where Dick's like, confesses to Bruce. Basically, it's like, oh hey, I didn't save Blockbuster, and and Bruce in his Bruce way just basically says to him, there's a difference between killing someone and not throwing yourself in front of the bullet.
It must be right around. I'd have to look, but yeah.
And I mean, any bullet that's going to take out Blockbuster isn't going to be some small little caliber either. But yeah, so yeah, Dick was shot in war games, so he's still kind of feverish here, and Alfred's trying to take care of him. And we kind of get Yeah, we go back and forth between Dick and Alfred, and then Tarantula still in the streets. Like,
This is still in Gotham, right?
yeah. Cause I think she's waiting for Dick. Yeah, because Bruce shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, she followed him back after War Games or during War Games.
Yeah. Because Tarantula even say to Bruce, she's like, "Oh, I want you to train me," and he basically just ignores her. Mm. Oh yeah, and I guess Bruce calls Alfred, and Dick kind of overhears that end of the conversation.
Well, Alfred is like, Richard John Grayson, get back in this bed this instant. But yes, obviously, I don't know which page it is, what number page it is, but this one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a jam. That's why I love this one. Alfred, what's the matter? Oh, my dear boy, if only I knew. Ever since you were a child, I have seen in you such luminosity of spirit. It was truly almost visible, some indefinable and yet unmistakable fire at the very core of your being that allowed you to survive and thrive where so many others. But now that very spark seems to have vanished from you, Master Dick. It's as if it never lit your heart. I do not know why, and I do not know how to help you, but I fear that without it, the life that you and Master Bruce lead could prove unsurvivable. Alfred, what are you talking about? Bruce hasn't had any innate inner optimism this whole time, and he'll outlast every one of us. But of course he has had optimism. He has had you. Aww. It's so beautiful.
I know. I do. That gets you.
Also, I like how, I mean, they obviously the books, but you know, it was the early aughts and too much stuff was happening. They never got to fully deal with all of the. I mean, but you know, comic books are not known for their nuanced handling deep emotional issues. They never really got to fully deal with the stuff that happened. Somewhat, but at least Alfred's acknowledging, like, yes, I can tell that something is wrong with you. You're not yourself.
Well, yeah, after the whole Tarantula thing and again, it's not only just Blockbuster. I mean, literally, Dick has been raped. So
again,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he ever got therapy the first time.
But I do appreciate, because if I'm not mistaken, in Joker Last Laugh, Dick beats Joker to death because he's upset because he thinks he's killed another Robin. Yeah. And then Bruce brings Joker back to life, or resuscitates him because he's like barely dead. And then isn't that like, don't they never talk about it again? Like a lot of other comics don't even really mention it.
They talk it for like an issue or two afterwards, but yeah, after that, it's pretty much, they kind of drop it. I don't know if it's like a different team. You know what? I think, was it Bruce Wayne Murderer or Fugitive starts like a few months after that. So, you know, that kind of takes the spotlight off of it. Yeah. Again.
Right. And that, so at least, I mean, I know, and I think part of this is, I'm just talking about this with somebody else. I mean, overall, I think that the earlier run is a very good job. Dixon did a very good job, but I also feel like people kind of look at that earlier stuff through rose-colored glasses as well, because some of the stuff that came after was like not that good. Yeah. Like now going back and reading, I'm like, these issues are good, but not as great as everybody's making them out to be. And I think that's one of the things is, at least I felt like the stuff with Blockbuster, I mean, it was very gut-wrenching, and it did make sense how Dick would just feel so defeated that he wouldn't throw himself in front of the bullet or do anything, and then also that how it would affect him, because I felt like with Dixon, he was kind of like, the Joker sucks, which is totally true, and somebody should beat him to death, and he was like, we'll have Nightwing do it, and that doesn't really feel. I mean, I've seen some good fanfiction. You can kind of spin it as it works because, you know, Dick is a bit more in touch with his emotions. That, you know, he kind of like did it for Jason and did it for Tim. He did it for his little brother. So it kind of works. But at the same time, it just like happens and then everybody gets over it really fast and they don't really ever talk about it again. So it sort of feels like it was thrown in there because wouldn't it be nice to see the Joker get totally beat to crap? And then, so like at least with this, it's more woven in, and even though I don't think all the repercussions were dealt with as fully as they should have been or as well as they should have been, at least it was dealt with more than that.
Yeah, and I mean that whole last laugh thing. I mean, yeah, I think Chuck Dixon was just looking for someone to kill the Joker, but I mean, you could almost say, yeah, it is Dick because yeah, he is more in touch with his emotions, and again, too, first he thinks Joker's killed Jason, now he thinks he's killed Tim, who he's a much closer to. So I just think it's pure anger. Plus, there's probably something in the back of his mind where he's saying, you know what, the Joker needs to die. Let me do this so Bruce doesn't have to have this blood on his hands.
I mean,
So
I think he also feels very guilty about Jason, even though they don't necessarily.
Yeah,
mean
and
to,
again,
but-
he didn't know.
So
He
yeah,
didn't know.
it's like it fits, but it also just kind of like boom suddenly happens, and then we don't talk about it again. So it also doesn't feel like it was working as well.
And again, at that moment too, there's probably guilt too, because as far as Dick knows, there's two dead. The two Robins who came after him are both dead, as far as he knows. So there's probably guilt too. It's like, you know what? If I could have made it work with Bruce, I still would have been here. These two boys would not be dead. It's because Dick loves his guilt.
Don't they all?
Oh,
but I feel like the Blockbuster stuff was woven in better to be more impactful.
oh yeah.
Certainly is like harder to forget and much more gut wrenching when you read, because sometimes I forget that happened in Joker Last Laugh.
I mean, what had happened, but I swear, I think the whole thing he was all upset about with Blockbusters, not that Blockbuster was dead. Blockbuster is a giant piece of crap, but no, I think he was just like, oh no, Bruce has this no killing thing. Bruce will never forgive me. That's it. Bruce is gonna disown me. I'm never gonna, talk to Bruce again.
Well, yes, and I imagine it is also guilt that Blockbuster is dead, and sort of like Monday morning quarterbacking or whatever, that boom, as soon as it's done, you're like, oh no, I should have done more to save him, even if there isn't really anything that you could have done short of getting yourself killed instead. And
again, he wasn't in a good place at that point to begin with, so.
Yeah, but I see it more yes, the worry about Bruce, but also just the sort of guilt complex immediately kicking in afterwards, that you're like, oh no, now I regret that I did that, even though it makes sense.
And then compound that with the rape, and I think he snaps, yeah. Because see, that's the subtext behind this issue. Not only is Alfred taking care of him physically, I believe he's healing mentally also.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think that's why it's so, because you see Dick's face at the end when he says he has had you. Dick's like, oh,
yeah,
he's really feeling down about himself, and he kind of doesn't realize that.
Because isn't that why Dick's dragging himself out of bed? I think Alfred said he had like 104 temperature, and he's trying to drag himself out of bed because, the way Alfred's doesn't want to tell him, but it's like everyone else has left town. So Dick even says, he's like, Bruce is out there by himself. He's like, no, I got to get up, and Alfred's like, no, that's when he yells, I'm going to get back in bed. And he says, you know what? Yeah, you're the only other person. So that's why you have to get better. Get back in that bed. You have to get better.
And because, we always talk about, Batman needs a Robin, and how, and I mean, he should. I mean, Tim gets a lot of credit for, pulling Bruce out of the dark place after Jason died. But I think that, at least as it's been written in, like, since Crisis, sometimes people forget that Dick pulled Bruce out of the dark place initially and made Batman's something that could go longer term.
Yeah. But no,
So
at the end of this, yeah, I think Bruce's words hit him because he says, "We can't control the kind of crime we fight." He's like, "But we can control the selection of those whom we choose to fight with." And it's basic, like I said, hits dicks. Next thing we see the issue end with him driving out of the Batcave, all the way down there.
But of course, I also like. He's talking to Bruce. He's like, "What are we doing? I don't know where the line is. I keep getting lost." And because Dick is down there wearing barely any clothes, Bruce puts his cape around him. Aww. I know.
I mean, this would have been interesting if we had gotten this story where it was just the two of them protecting Gotham for a while.
I know. Stupid to Dido wanting him to die. Because, I mean, that's why because Devin has said, because I kind of feel like she kind of got screwed a little bit by...
Oh, a lot of them do in modern comics, when you have to like juggle a crossover and stuff.
But I mean, when they tell you you're gonna write this character, but they can't be their superhero identity, that's kind of weird.
Exactly.
And it does. I mean, it's nice that they could finally do interviews and talk about that, because I mean, they obviously set it up so that it makes sense. We'll see at the end of the episode, but it also still kind of doesn't make sense. And so it's nice to know, like, oh, the reason you went in that direction was because they told you to.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're like, why did you do that? And it's like, they told me to. Oh, okay. Well, now that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've meant to tell you. I talked to DG Chichester and Fabian Nitsa on Saturday for that episode. I did give him your comments, and he was going through his writing process after your questions. So I'll let you know when that episode's up, because that was pretty early in the episode. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I can start watching after that.
I mean, she listened to the whole thing. It's good, but yeah, it's a Marvel story.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing. But yeah, you're right. That could have been really cool, and I feel like if they hadn't told Devin you can't have him be Nightwing, that maybe they could have done something like that for a while, and that would have been sweet. I'm also kind of wondering if that's part of the reason that, because they do kind of wrap stuff up here, if that's part of the reason that then they had Nightwing Year One be for 3 months in the main continuity, was they were like, oh, okay, we got to figure out what we're doing here.
Maybe, yeah, because you got a flashback, so maybe you're trying to.
I think Nightwing Year One is kind of different in that it came out during the Nightwing book, as opposed to coming out as like a prestige format kind of thing. Because like Robin Year One came out, it was its own thing, and Batgirl Year One came out and it was its own thing.
And it was a different writer and everything. So yeah, maybe it was giving Devin time to figure out where she was going, because maybe that's when they did tell her, hey, all this is happening. After issue 100, all this is happening.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, probably because everything before 1 year later is him doing the mobbed up or with Deathstroke. Like, until 1 year later, he's not actually in the Nightwing suit.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's company events and stuff. Because like even right now, it's like in Dark Crisis, Deathstroke is been possessed by the Great Darkness, so he's doing, he's not himself. So what are they doing in Deathstroke Inc., his book right now? A Year One story.
See, yeah, okay. There you go.
All right. Should we do what episode 1 or issue 100?
Yes.
I don't know, man. That cover's kind of violent.
Indeed.
I'm just choking her from behind.
Indeed. I kind of wish, and I assume this is a lot of DC's marketing. I kind of wish that they didn't, when they have this stuff on here, like breaking up is hard to do. That is because I don't think, and if you really read the comics and think about it, Devin was not trying to make them a couple.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Catalina's creepy and is scheming on him, and I think she was always kind of. It's kind of like a little bit like with Tara, how people wanted to believe that Tara was like was really a Titan, and they saw it, but she never was. She was always playing them.
Yeah.
And I think that like Catalina was never really good, and maybe she had the potential, but she never.
Yeah. I know.
They weren't gonna be. I mean. Yeah, she almost gets Dick to marry her, but that's not because he wants to marry her or likes her. That's because he's traumatized and feeling really guilty, and it's like a way of punishing himself. Is okay, I'll marry you. So it's like breaking up and hard to do doesn't actually really fit with what's going on. So it's kind of like some of the ways they were advertising it. Didn't really fit what she wrote, and I think that's kind of unfortunate because I think that also plays into people misunderstanding what was going on.
I don't know who puts the words on the cover, but I know from my conversation with Chichester, it's not the writer of the issue. Devin had nothing to do with that, I'm sure.
Right, yeah, and that's not, and I get the sense that that's not uncommon.
I think it's all the time.
Sometimes publishers will even like come up with the title or will modify your title and stuff like that. So I feel like that's probably also part of it. Why, unfortunately, Devin gets a lot of hate and criticism for this stuff is because the stuff was kind of advertised is different, I think, than what she intended. Because I do not think she ever intended Dick and Catalina to be together. Catalina was always supposed to be someone that was bad for Dick and that he was trying to help because he's a nice guy.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was just somebody who looked at the art, didn't even read the story. It was just like, oh, we're bringing up something to do. Oh.
Right, yeah.
But this one.
Or who knows? Maybe it was Didio because he's a hater.
Yeah, maybe. But his name's not on this, but it could be.
I will say, though, the one thing that kind of cracks me up, okay, I don't know a lot about wounds technique, but I feel like surely you would not wrap it on the outside of your clothes, right? Like, shouldn't that be up against the skin underneath what you're wearing?
You would think, yeah. I just wonder if that's just like that's just the artist interpretation. It's like, oh yeah, his leg's still messed up. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I think so. But that kind of cracked me up. I was like, that seems not to be the best wound care.
Especially, it wasn't his leg wrapped up in the cave, but he didn't have his suit on, so it's almost
right,
like, it's almost like he took it off, put the suit on, wrapped it up back. Yes. Again, it could be just be artist not talking either, because this is a different artist on this issue. So
creative license, as they say.
Exactly. Yeah, this one ends up with it starts with Dick in jail.
Yeah, and he talks about how he's, he was a male orphan of violent crime. He had his, unstable childhood. He was racially other, white, but not white enough. And then, of course, one of the really great things about this one is the panels of him with Dad John and Dad Bruce.
Yeah, kind of compare and contrast. They have his two dads, yeah.
Yeah, and how I like how similar they are, broadly speaking, but in kind of their execution, if you will, of it there.
Yeah, John's more laid back at some point. Yeah, Bruce is just, Bruce, yeah.
Yeah, Bruce is super inflexible.
But yeah, then we flash back. We see Dick finds Tarantula on a rooftop. But yeah, he's telling her, yeah, Batman has things under control. It's time for you and me to go back to the Haven and make things right. But he's saying the ride's over. If I ever have to touch you again, you are not going to enjoy it. And he says, let's go. And she's like, okay, where? He says, up the river. She's like, wait, no, Bloodhaven south of. And then she's like, oh.
It's like it's an expression.
Yeah. Then she starts running.
Yeah, and he gets her. You son of a. You know exactly who I'm the son of. Boom.
It's so funny because he's basically still on crutches, and he's fighting her on crutches.
Yep.
Next, they're fighting. She's like, I'm gonna kick her crippled butt. I don't think so. She says, I've beaten you before when you were when all you had was a hurt shoulder. This time I can take you down. Now he's like, yeah, I know I can. Calling her an amateur.
And then this page I think is partially why Tarantula was in there, and I don't know, maybe as Devin a little bit trying to explain to people, hey, it seems like some of you didn't get what I was doing here, so let me explicitly lay it out for you. Like, you remind me of what I might have been if I didn't have Bruce, someone to help me channel things. And he's like, I met you basically at a bad time in my life. And he's like, I wanted to believe that someone like you, he says wild, impulsive, and audacious, but he also kind of means like an underdog. I wanted to believe that you would be able to win.
And after what happened with Blockbuster, I needed to believe it. I needed to believe there's nothing I could have done. And I find that leaves me with nothing to do, and I can't be who I need to be as long as I'm avoiding responsibility for my actions, for my inactions. And she points a gun at him and says, I won't let you do it. If you take me in, I'll take you down with me. And he says, you won't have to. I'm turning it myself in too.
He's like, what? You didn't do anything.
Exactly.
He's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, that you killed Blockbuster. I did nothing to stop you, and we both know I should have. But she does fire on him.
And I feel like this. Again, it kind of works. I shouldn't say that one is more true to this and the Joker thing. They both show important facets of Dick's personality. That okay, sometimes he can, let his emotions and anger get the better of him, particularly when it involves his family. Like, it's not, he wouldn't just beat Joker to death just because. It was because the Joker was bringing up Jason and then added on like, oh yeah, and made him think he killed Tim. So that works. And then I think this one also works. That he is so torn up by guilt that he didn't, save a life, kind of thing that, I feel like when it doesn't come, the Joker is an exception because of what he's done to the family. When it doesn't come to the Joker and it doesn't involve what he's done to his family, Dick's like, I should have saved every life, and I feel super guilty that I didn't. I think it also matters that even though Blockbuster, part of why Dick didn't save him was Blockbuster was threatening other people, but he had mostly just hurt Dick, and it's always harder for. I think it's harder for people to take threats to themselves more seriously than threats to other people, and it's always much harder to forgive yourself. Speaking. So, I think this is good. And I think that's also why, like, whatever it is, what it is, but that's why the Titans the show is so, like obviously different and kind of a different take with the grittiness, because this dick would be haunted by like, we blew up that, we let that factory catch on fire and we just left. Like these people in the comics wouldn't really do it that way.
Heck yeah. But yeah, no, he takes her in, and he takes them both in, and he says, I tell her to tell them everything except the secret, not my secret to give away.
Yeah.
Mm.
He gives Babs a call, and he has that sweet little transmitter thing in his shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know, whatever it is that blocks it. And look at Babs' old-timey flip phone. Yeah, 2005.
So yeah, we see more flashbacks of Batman and his father. Then the cops come in and say, sorry to keep you waiting, Detective Grayson. It's like, wait, what? So basically, yep, Amy told them that he was undercover.
Yep.
So like, oh, nice job bringing in Tarantula. So then he said, I need to speak with Amy. So he does. He goes, I don't know what's worse, destroying evidence or making it up. He's like, I'm not a detective. I wasn't working for the Bloodhaven Police Department when I killed Blockbuster. So you know it. She says, you didn't shoot Roland Desmond. I don't know what that down in that hotel, but I'm not gonna let you take the fall for that little psychopath in interrogation 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think this stuff with Amy is really good because we talk so much about, and the vigilante, they're very clear on their code and stuff. But I mean, you do, and this is a huge. I mean, it was a problem then, and it's becoming an even more obvious problem to us now. But there are some slightly different rules that the cops are allowed to operate. I mean, that being said, I don't think I wouldn't be like legally. I mean, if it was, oh snap, I was next to someone and they shot this person and I didn't jump in front of the gun to save them. I mean, that wouldn't make you legally responsible either.
Yeah, no, it's just a moral thing for him. But yeah, no, I mean, he didn't pull the trigger. He didn't even hand her the gun. He didn't facilitate it, anything. So.
Right, but and I think that also Amy does a good job pointing out that he's like, you're denying me my best shot at atonement. And she's like, atonement? Well, let me tell you what. If you think, she's basically like, if you're interested in atonement, then like don't send yourself to prison because that's a waste.
Exactly. It's basically get back out there. Yeah. Yeah, because she says you in jail would not make this world a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot more to. Yeah, you have a lot better things to do than sit around in a prison cell. Oh, but setting up the next arc, yeah, we see as he's walking by the cells, that guy's like, "You tell him crutches." Then he gives him his card.
Yeah, I know this anger management guy. Don't hold that stuff in.
So remember, kids, this guy calls them crutches. Well, we'll get there next week.
And then we hear Barbara's voicemail. She says, I can't take hearing you say you failed me. You never did fail me. I love you and stay safe. And then Alfred goes down and sees.
Yes, in front of the trophy case where Jason's Robin costume is. Yep, there's the Nightwing costume on the floor.
And there we are.
Alfred's probably like, oh my goodness, I taught that boy to hang up his clothes.
Yeah, something like that. And then we don't really talk that much more about Tarantula again, do we?
No, I don't think she shows up in this
It's
book.
like, that's a wrap. That's all, folks.
Yeah, pretty. I'm trying to remember if she shows up in. Here, let me see if I can find something on her. But it's like, yeah, if she shows up again, it's like nothing major. I don't think. Sure. Here we go. See if I can find some appearances here. Oh, of course, there's the original Tarantula. Yeah, there's a bunch of tarantulas. I know. Yeah, again, this was like her biggest thing is these Nightwing issues.
Right, yeah.
Like I said, I can't remember if it's before or after New 52, but I mean she shows up, but it's nothing huge.
Wait, does she show up for?
Yeah, she might be like a background or something, but I'm trying to think. Oh, oh, where's this? Infinite Crisis. During the crisis, the Society of Supervillains dropped Chemo, a giant semi-intelligent life form made of chemicals, on the city of Bloodhaven. Yes, the city is destroyed by the toxic fallout, and over 100,000 casualties are reported. However, she survived and was sent to prison. But despite a battle with Batman, oh yeah, that's right. She does show up in an issue of Detective later on. She was recently released.
Oh, so she gets out of jail?
I think she was recently released by the Secret Six. While working with them, she sacrifices herself to kill Junior, whoever that is. So yeah, she dies at some point, but that's what I'm saying. I think there's like she's in one issue of Detective fighting Batman, and then yeah, she must show up with the Secret Six and dies there. So
Okay.
yeah, nothing to write home about. So
Fair enough.
I don't know if a lot of writers want to get into Tarantula's tangled history.
Yeah, I think I'd probably steer clear.
If they want to get into that tangled web. Yeah. So I wish we would get a proper wrap up. Again, it would have been cool to have a story where just Bruce and Dick are protecting Gotham. He's out there at night as Nightwing, during the day, maybe getting some therapy.
Yeah, I mean that'd be good, but it's always difficult to get the therapy going on.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to go in specifics. Be like, oh, hey, I was raped. You don't have to say by who, what costume you were wearing. Yeah, just be like, I was raped.
Yes.
Again, I don't know, just certain characters. It seems like they like to pile stuff on certain characters at certain points. I mean, how many times has Dick been shot in the head? At least twice.
Yeah, well, I mean, then they do it all. I mean, that's why I talk about Phrygian. I mean, they do it all the time to the female characters, like so much.
Oh, did I mention to you? I think it was the last issue of Batgirls. Like KGB shows up, so now it's like Stephanie and Cass got their turn to beat on KGB. For
Oh no, I haven't read that one yet. Nice.
So yeah, he's going around DC Universe, and everyone's taking their turns. So like, this is for Dick Grayson. Punch.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he shot the wrong guy in the head because he pissed off everybody.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
All right. Anything else? Or should we let you get to bed?
Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
All right. So yes, kids. Next week we'll again we already did Nightwing Year 1, which had nothing to do with this. Yes, we will pick up with Devin's next arc in Nightwing 107 through 109. And then in 2 weeks, we'll continue that with Nightwing 110 and 111. And then I'll wrap up September, because in October, we'll start some more spooky stories. Like the first week of October, we're doing year 1, Batman Scarecrow 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then we have vampire ones. And I mean, we could add in the vampire DC versus vampires, because of course when I put this together, I didn't know that stuff was happening.
Well, there should be, though. I'm sure sometime in there there'll be a new issue. So
yeah,
I'll let you know when that comes out. Oh yeah, but no, I think we got a bunch of good stuff. I mean, there's some vampire stuff on here.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing vampires a lot. They're really into vampires.
Heck yeah. All right, kids. So yes,
they had vampires in the 80s.
Yeah, the 1880s. Hey-oh.
Yeah, I mean, before that, although vampires are not as old. I mean, really, the heyday of vampires is after witches. It's like 1700. So vampires, considering they're supposed to be undead, are like kind of babies. It's fascinating.
They knew how to hide. All right, kids. Yes. So, send your thoughts next week, 107 through 109. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow Nightwing News on Facebook, on Twitter. Join the Nightwing Facebook fan group. Again, find links to all the various social medias for all the shows we do. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Everything we do gets a video. It's all free. So smash the subscribe button.
Smash it.
And please, of course, subscribe to the Patreon. Again, you get early access to creator interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats, the aforementioned Chichester chats.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
And Lilith Loves Our Pain. So superhero movie brackets. We will find the worst superhero movie of all time. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen vs. Sin City 2 is already up. The next one will be The Phantom vs. the Spirit. So, pain. And, of course, pick yourself up some Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch. Find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. And if you're sick of all that little crap, get the important stuff. Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. Pick it up on Amazon. Again, do your homework on all things Dick Grayson. All right. Make Kristen happy. Pick up Dick Grayson. Thank you for joining us. Once more, Nightwing 107 through 109. Send us feedback. Have you ever seen a man so capable fighting on crutches? I don't think so. There's gonna be a lot to pick apart there. You know, what was
maybe he'll appear again in Harley Quinn as well. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I hope so. Maybe something more substantial. Yeah. I saw a commercial. They said the next season of Titans is coming. They just never. I don't think they said when.
I thought they said they were still filming the last episode.
Wow. Well, I saw a commercial. They said stream the previous seasons. The next one's coming, but again, they didn't say when. But I know when we're coming next week, kids. Join the same wing time.
Same wing channel.
The Nightwing News.